Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monday Manifest. I was racking my brain. It's currently 11 p.m. Sunday night, and tomorrow's Monday, and I still hadn't recorded anything because I'm really bad at this, and I really should actually have like sessions where I do multiple things. But it is what it is. But I'm here now. I mean, you can tell it's late because, well, it'd be dark in my apartment anyway, but it's especially dark looking. But don't worry about that. Anyway, so this week's Monday Manifest, I'm going to be talking about the fantastic game that I played recently that everybody might have heard of, um, called Super Mario Wonder. That came out earlier this year. It feels like forever ago because it was back in March. Oh god, God, I played it like as soon as it came out, and I usually don't do that because money. No, but let's see. When did it come out? Wait, 2023. Okay, I don't know how time works. 2020. I thought it was 2024. Um. Oh, cool. Somebody on Reddit decided it wasn't a masterpiece, but people on Reddit have a lot of opinions, so 2023. Wikipedia, tell me. What do you mean 2020? When did it come out? October 20th. It's been a year. Maybe that was my Christmas present last year. I just remember getting it as a gift from RC and Zunder. My god. Okay. Well, anyway, never mind. The not so recent game, Super Mario Wonder. But I played through it in like maybe 3 streams because I played it for the thing is I usually only stream for maybe 4 to 5 hours. That's about my limit cuz after that I get pretty tired. But if it's a Mario game, I tend to play it for upwards of 8 to 10 hours, or if I'm trying to finish one of the Ace Attorney games, it ends up being that long because I'm ready to finish this and not have to worry about it. Because as much as I like Ace Attorney, it also drains the hell out of me. It doesn't help that the game doesn't have voice acting other than the objection and hold it and a couple other lines and well, certain cutscenes, but that's just really in like the later games. I really wish that Ace Attorney had voice acting because there's a lot to read. And I don't have to read it, but I figure I should because it makes it easier too if people are just listening, so they can just hear me talking instead of, hearing text scroll by that they don't know is going on. Anyway, we can talk about Ace Attorney later. I don't I there's still plenty that I could say about that in a different Monday Manifest. I really just need to make a little chart of what I've talked about and what I haven't talked about and get things planned out like an actual good YouTuber would. But let's not worry about that. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. We're almost 4 minutes in and I'm just all over the place. Super Mario Wonder, a 2023 title. I don't know how time works, guys, so don't worry about it. Anyway, I remember when I saw the ads for Super Mario Wonder, I was like, okay, that looks. I mean, because the first few things, basically, they just like you can turn into an elephant, and also you touch these flowers that make everything weird, like drugs. And you're like, well, I mean, it's Super Mario. He eats mushrooms. There's something there, there's jokes to be made and all that, but Wonder definitely took it to the next level of possible psychedelics use with the development team because oh boy, that game was trippy in a lot of areas, but just everything worked out incredibly well. And I have to say, the one part that I did not do on stream was the special worlds. Well, I think I did the special worlds. I just didn't do the ultimate super special world, which is a giant marathon of you using every single badge you get in the game. If you haven't played the game, you get badges that are either helpful or unhelpful. Most of them are helpful. Like the first one you get is one that lets you use a hat as a parachute, so you can get across long gaps and stuff. There's another one that gives you a vertical wall jump, so you can jump higher, faster. There's one that makes you dash faster. There's one that makes you like walk in sand faster. All this good stuff. And then there's some like I think there were what? Oh man, I can't remember if there were a couple detrimental ones or not. I think there were like they were called like challenge badges because they make things a little bit harder. The only one I can really remember because it was the one that made me want to die while I was doing the challenge for it is the invisibility badge, which literally makes your character invisible, like 100% invisible. I don't think they even cast a shadow. And you have to get through a part with that, and I think it also involved jumping and bottomless pits, and it was awful. I hated it. And while enemies can't see you, you also don't know where the hell you are most of the time. In multiplayer, if you're the crowned character, which means like you're kind of the focus or you got the most points in the last round, then you can see where you're at because you have a little crown indicator on your character. But aside from that, you're fucked. And granted, that's an optional thing. You don't have to do it. I did it because I wanted to, because I was like, well, I like Mario games and I figure I might as well complete this. Would I do it again? I don't think so. And yeah, unfortunately, it's not recorded that I did it, but I did do it because I think I got a medal for it. Because you get medals for doing certain things in the games, and then you can actually play online. I didn't do any of that. Kind of regret it because I feel like playing online with randos would have been fun too, like just seeing how we can help each other and all that. And you get hearts because you can like. I think if you all finish at the same time, you get hearts, or people can give you extra hearts, something like that. I haven't messed around with it too much. But eventually I'll probably play through it again in multiplayer mode if I can get my friend Anna a copy of Wonder. But yeah, Super Mario Wonder was there's the funny thing is since I played it then I really haven't replayed it. I still remember a lot of like there's you could use the elephant to water plants because there's these little like god bulbs something like these little nuts. I don't know how to describe them. They're basically just these little things on the ground where whenever you run over them, like they'd usually like spit out some coins or something like that. Certain ones would spit out the actual wonder flowers, which are the things that make everything super trippy. But you also need to do the wonder flower in every stage in order to get all of the wonder seeds, which you need to progress through each of the stages. And every stage, it's not cumulative completely. Each area has their own specific color of seed, and then when you get to the next area, it's basically you're at 0 and you have to get the seeds of that area. But it works out pretty well. And there's one like main area that connects everything. So aside from the first couple of areas, you're actually free to explore and do the different worlds as like, however you want, which is really refreshing in a Mario game. Like generally there's a pretty set path of progression, but it works out okay. Like I love Super Mario 3D World to death, even though playing it multiplayer is actually hazardous because there's character collision. I wish you could turn it off. Maybe you can, and I just never found that. But I guess part of the fun is the fact that it's horribly chaotic with a lot of people. But yeah, like 3D World is great. It's still there's so many and 3D World 3D World is like a weird 2D 3D Mario combination basically because it doesn't work in the same way that other 3D Marios work which are more just open going around, like Super Mario 64, oh god, Super Mario Sunshine, Odyssey, all of that. It follows more of the you get to a goalpost like every 2D Mario, but in 3D. I know. That was a really roundabout way of explaining it. But But yeah, Wonder, you progress through the levels, but there are some branching paths, there's hidden places, and then once you get to the main central area and do some stuff, you can get to any world and do it in any order. Until you get to the final place. I'd have to say my only like real complaint with Wonder is that it felt quite short, but and it's not especially challenging, which is why they have the challenge badges. I mean, there are definitely some Wonder Seeds that were a bit trickier or took a little extra like thinking outside the box to get, but none of them were especially hard to get. And like I said, the only thing that really gave me like a lot of trouble was doing the final challenge badge marathon thingy. And it was mostly just the invisibility badge that sucked. Like there were a couple other ones that weren't too bad, but the invisibility one is the one that killed me the most. And yeah, once I got past that, I was just like, okay, smooth sailing, we're good, cool. And yeah, I think it was still 8 worlds total, because I think yeah, 7 or 8. Maybe not even that many. Well, no, because there's still Bowser has his own. Of course, Bowser has his own world. It's a 2D Mario. He always has his own world. But so I think it was like 7 or 8. One, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But there were still plenty of levels to go through, and plenty of reasons to go back and redo them to 100% because they had like branching paths, and generally using the Wonder Seed always opens up areas you couldn't get to normally because the terrain's changed or you've changed in a way that allows you to interact with the terrain to get past certain obstacles and things. So it's definitely worth like checking it out, seeing what all the effects are. Some are way crazier than others. Some are you transforming into some creature. That was one of the other big things about Super Mario Wonder. They added a lot of new stuff, and I think I heard that was one of the things that they wanted. Not that they didn't have older enemies like Goombas and Galoombas and Boos and stuff like that, but they definitely had way less of them than you would expect. I mean, still plenty of Koopas. I mean, Koopas are like a Mario staple along with Goombas. I was kind of sad because I do like Boos and like the haunted Boo houses. There were very few areas with Boos, but they had these other things like these Hoppy Cat things, which are these little jumpy guys with spikes on their heads, and these birds that steal coins and also try to stab you, and these floaty fish things that you usually used in aerial levels to get around. There are far too many for me to describe or remember completely, but because it's been a little while, and also it's just like, man, it's a lot. Not that the game didn't leave an impression, it's just my brain not functioning correctly. Yeah, Super Mario Wonder was it was really refreshing because, and I love Mario. I played pretty much every 2D and 3D Mario that I've been able to get my hands on, or the remasters of the older ones and stuff like that. I would say Wonder is probably has probably been the most innovative or creative when it comes to like enemy types, the terrain, the abilities that you get. I mean, you really don't have that many abilities. You have, the fire flower and the ice flower, which, have been around for a long time. And then you have the elephant, which is definitely brand new. And then you have the drill hat, which technically isn't brand new because you got a drill in Super Mario Galaxy 2. But I don't think it ever showed up in any of the other games. I could be wrong. And then obviously there's plenty of like wonder flowers that made it so you turned into different enemies, which was a lot of fun, like kind of experimenting with stuff like that. There was actually one part where it's basically like a stealth mission because it turns you into a Goomba, and Goombas can't jump and are really slow, and it puts you in an area with these monsters that try to just eat you in one bite. And yeah, that was an interesting like twist on things. You're just like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of scary actually being one of these guys and not knowing if you'll be squished or eaten. Sad. And yeah, and obviously the boss is Bowser. The final like fight was pretty amazing, honestly. Like the build up to it was there was a lot of build up. I mean, but Bowser also talks himself up a lot, so it was a lot of self build up. Like I won't say that the fight was like bad in any way, but considering how much he hyped himself up, he really didn't pose that much of a challenge. But still, a lot of fun seeing like the different things that they did, that the new enemies or the augmented enemies. Like there were plenty of things that you could tell like were basically just different versions of an older enemy, but it was still like new enough or had a different twist to it. So it was like, this is fun. And I mean, I might be biased because I just really like Mario games, but Wonder was definitely very, very good in my book. Like I think they had a lot of really solid ideas, like good ideas, and like I said, the powers they worked out well for each stage. There were a few stages that stumped the hell out of me because they involved like going around finding stuff, or I especially had trouble. I said I didn't really have a lot of trouble with any stage. The one stage I had a lot of problems with, just because I didn't. Wonder doesn't want you to think in traditional Mario terms. Like at the end of the day, you're still running forward, jumping over obstacles, and hitting a goal pole. But there's a lot of times where it wants you to do something different from usual. And there is one area where the whole focus of the area is pushing blocks and things around. And there's one point where you can push the entire wall of an area over. But you don't know that unless you try that kind of as a last resort, because if you don't push this wall, there's other enemies that push the statue into you and squish you. So you have to kind of figure it out. And I was like getting pissed because I'm like, how the fuck? Like, how am I supposed to? There's no way out. And then I went against the wall and I noticed it moved. And I was just like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But, that's just the way the game works. Like sometimes there's solutions where you're like, there's no way that'll work. And it's exactly what you have to do. So sometimes, yes, it could be a little frustrating, but that's less on the game and just more on my brain not coming up with solutions that would make sense in that particular circumstance. It's just having myself locked into like, okay, run and jump. It's like, oh no, but now you can also turn into an elephant and push walls and other things and kind of turn a lot of things on their head. But yeah, so there we go. That's my opinion on it. This is a pretty short video, but also like it's just I noticed that if I like a game, I kind of point out all the stuff that I liked about it, the points of it and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, good. Nice Monday Manifest. We're done. If I don't like a game, I feel like I have to kind of like justify it, even though I really don't have to. Like, my opinion is my opinion. I know it's funny. I piss some people off with my with the top 100 games ranking list, because there's just some stuff that I don't really like that much because it's just not my kind of game. I guess they got kind of butthurt about it. I'm like, look, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's plenty of people that don't like Zelda and Mario, and I like Zelda and Mario, and I don't know. Like, if you don't like it, whatever. It's just not your thing. There's a lot of games I just haven't played either, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I mean, I loved Super Mario Wonder. I love the Super Mario franchise. If you like platformers and weird stuff, Super Mario Wonder will be a fantastic game for you. If you don't like either of those things, you probably won't like it very much, but I don't know. It's always good to try new things. Or like if your friend has a copy, just like steal it from them for a bit and see if you like it. I don't know. Or you can watch me play it on YouTube. There's always that, then that'll save you money. And then you can see me get frustrated at things. Not too often, but I mean, I'm a very impatient person, especially when I'm streaming. So It just happens. Trying to work on that. But anyway, thank you once again, everybody, for being here for this week's Monday Manifest. I will see you guys next week with something. I will draw up that spreadsheet or whatever and try to figure out what I have and haven't talked about, and like the game list I have, and make sure I refresh myself before each video so I'm not just talking out of my ass. Yeah, Super Mario Wonder, great game, good Mario game. Very strange in a lot of ways, but in a good way. I mean, I guess most Mario games are kind of strange, but it's fine. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic night, day, whatever happens to be when you're watching this, and I will see you for the next Monday Manifest.